Hello, welcome to this lesson of Mastering Java. Here we're going to finish our discussion of the essential basic math methods in the math class. And we're going to talk about the inverse sine, inverse cosine, inverse tangent functions. So in the last, or I should say methods, in the last section we talked about sine, cosine, and tangent. That's when you take an angle and you figure out what the sine of that angle is. Or you take an angle and you figure out what the cosine is. Or you have an angle and you figure out what the tangent of that angle is. Now we're going to be going backwards and taking the inverse sine, inverse cosine, inverse tangent. And again, I'm not going to teach this whole concept to you. I have lots of math classes to do that. I'm just mostly trying to show you how to use it in terms of Java. So in terms of cosine, the A cosine is the arc cosine, returns the arc cosine of a value. The returned angle is in the range between 0 and pi. So it's telling you a couple of different things. It's telling you that the method name is called A cosine. That's frequently what is printed on calculators. Sometimes you'll see it with cosine and a little -1 in there to indicate that it's the inverse. Sometimes it has an arc cosine or an A cosine. So this is pretty standard terminology. It's also pretty standard that when you get the answer, it's going to give you an angle between 0 and pi. So it's like going backwards. It's like putting the answer in and getting back the angle there. So that's why it's called an inverse. Now for the inverse sine, we have something called a sine, which is the arc sine. We give it an answer in terms of a double value there, and the angle that we get back is going to be between -pi/2 and pi/2. So again, all of the answers coming back are in terms of radians. They're all in terms of radian measure. And then we have arctangent, same sort of thing. A tangent, stick a number in there and you get the angle back. In this case, it's telling you it's between -pi/2 and pi/2. Now the details of why it's pi/2, -pi/2, and all this